Destiny 2 is a lot of game. There is a lot going on here, and if you're a new player, like you never touched Destiny before ever, it can be quite overwhelming and quite intimidating, especially in 2025, where you've reached the end of a saga, you've had content gated in a story that is extremely fragmented. And what I'm going to do today in this video is break down how I approached Destiny 2 when it came to the story and understanding what the hell is going on in this universe. So buckle up, this is about to be a wild ride. And if you're into Destiny 2, looter shooters, and things of that nature, consider liking and subscribing. Outside of that, man, let's get right into it. So at the start, you will get the infamous cutscene for Destiny 2, where it really explains the overarching situation within this universe, the world, its characters, and a bit of the lore. Now, in my opinion, I do feel like they spoil some things within the game, particularly surrounding the Witness. You'll see throughout the story that the Witness has this mystique to him, this mystery to them. It's kind of lost in the fact that the game actually gives you a lot of information on the Witness from the onset. So there's really no mystery, no surprise when he does show up and you see what happens within the story itself. It's kind of like if Thanos was going to show up in the Infinity series, but prior to any movie coming out, we just get a whole movie on Thanos, his backstory, his childhood, and everything that made him him. And then they start releasing the Avengers movies after. It works, yes, but it's not as effective in my opinion. And it really takes the player out of the immersion of the story. But nonetheless, you do get this cutscene, and generally you get a gist of the world itself. Now, the first quest that you get into is the New Light quest. And it's really like an introduction. They do allow you to skip it and everything like that, but it's an introduction to the game, and I think it's a fairly good introduction. It really introduces you to the gameplay itself and how you play Destiny when it comes to the missions and the quests that you're given throughout the game. Now, I think the biggest problem that I had when I was playing Destiny 2 was after the New Light quest, I had no idea where to go. I had no idea where to continue on. So what I ended up doing was I just started doing random stuff. So I found myself in Lightfall a little bit and realizing I don't know what's going on here. I found myself in the Final Shape a little bit, and I'm like, I still don't know what's going on here. So with that confusion, I decided to get with my nephew, who had been playing the game since the beginning. He played all of the seasons. He played every piece of content that is available for Destiny 2, and he joined my game with me. He explained some of the lore to me, but he also, more importantly, told me the order in which I should play the quests within the game. Okay, so once you're done with the New Light quest and you get the ability to go into orbit, that's where things get a little bit tricky. Now, you have the ability to open your portal here. When you open that, you're met with a whole bunch of stuff here. You got Solo, you got Fireteam, you got Arena, you got Pinnacle, you got Crucible. There, you got Renegades expansion, which just came out. There's a ton of stuff, and it's like really hard to figure out like what to do next. But once you reach the portal, there's a lot of stuff here, and there are a lot of tabs. But what you want to do is you want to go over to the World tab. Now, the World tab is really interesting because there's a lot of stuff here as well. There are a lot of things to do. There are a lot of places to go. And a lot of these places are tied to the story itself. But one cool thing that I did not notice was here is they actually have a timeline. The timeline for me is very valuable. Now, if you click on the timeline, it goes through the timeline of all the events within the Light and Dark saga up until the point that we're at in the game now. I thought that this was awesome. Now, what you have here is this cinematic right here is the Witness's kind of like backstory and how the Witness came about. I feel like this kind of spoils a little bit of the Witness. I like the mystique of the Witness. I feel that if you're playing a game where the characters don't know who the Witness is and you know who the Witness is, it kind of takes you out of it a little bit. Not a deal breaker, but I would have much rather wanted to find out about the Witness along with the characters in the game. I do believe that's how that was intended and how it happened within the game when the game first came out. But if you don't care about any of that stuff, you do have the option to check out the Witness's backstory there. Destiny Calls is the cutscene that you see in the beginning, but it ties these two things together and gives you a little bit of a foundation within the game, dark, light, things of that nature. Now, one thing that you have to understand about Destiny 2 is that there's just some stuff, there's some content that you're just not going to have access to. It's gone. So with that, that means there's going to be some characters, some situations, some things mentioned that you're just not going to know what they're talking about. And you're going to have to ask somebody some questions, or you're going to have to look it up. Luckily, I had my nephew there to ask, like, who is this guy? Who is that guy? Who are they talking about right here? And he would be able to give me a backstory on that person and who they were. But in terms of the game itself, you're probably going to get like these little areas where you can read the text, but you won't get the full experience or the seasons that came with some of these parts of the game. Kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. But it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy the story of Destiny. I've been playing Destiny like crazy. I really enjoy the story that they do have here right now. So you have the Red War. This is something that had happened earlier. You don't have access to the content within it, but you can read about it and see what happened here. You have Curse of Osiris. You have Warmind. These are also parts of the game that you can't access anymore, but you can read about it. They do mention these things. Osiris does come back up, but you can't play any of this stuff here. But good information nonetheless. Now, with some of these markers here, you get a mission. I don't advise playing the missions that are tied to the marker, because with these missions, how they do it is they give you a cutscene with JPEGs to tell you, hey, this is the overarching thing that happened within this quest. And then they give you the last part, but it doesn't really give you any context. You kind of forget everything that you heard in the introduction, and you're playing something, you're hearing things, and you kind of still don't know what's going on necessarily. So I wouldn't advise playing anything from the timeline itself. It's not a good experience. But if there's anything that you play from the timeline, I would say play Forsaken. Why? Because it introduces you to Cayde 6, which I'm pretty sure if you're just touching Destiny for the first time, you have no idea who this is, but it's a character worth knowing. This is a really cool character. Probably the best character in the game, if you ask me. He had all of the personality. He reminds me of Deadpool a lot, but awesome character. And the Forsaken campaign itself actually revolved around him. It was great. You don't get all the experiences that you would have gotten in these seasons here, I believe, but you do get that one experience with Cayde 6. You get a really cool cutscene. You get to really see who this character is, even in this one mission, and you'll probably fall in love with the character because that's how good the character is. It only took one mission, and I'm like, yeah, this is the best character in the game. He had every bit of personality, but let me stop glazing him. But Forsaken is one of these within the timeline that I would say, hey, you know what? Play this for sure. It's a great introduction to Cayde 6, and it helps tie things together when he's mentioned in the tower later. Next, you have Shadowkeep. Now, my nephew told me about this one, and in his words, he says this is kind of just like filler. It did have a season with it. You don't have access to anything here as well, only a cinematic. But we move on. Beyond Light. Now, this is where I actually started when I restarted the game. So first, I started jumping around. I was in Lightfall. I was in Final Shape, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. This is the Dark and Light saga here. This really helps you understand the darkness angle of the whole thing. I thought the quest was good. It was straightforward, but it really goes through the idea of the darkness, and it's not Star Wars darkness. And I'll just tell you that, and I'll leave it be. But it's a good place to start. For me, anyway, it was a good place to start. It helped me understand the friction between the two and how actually the dark and the light work together. So I thought the Beyond Light campaign was pretty good. Now, next we have the Witch Queen. The Witch Queen is really interesting because I feel like this is the beginning, quote unquote, but it's really the beginning of the end of the saga. Really great storytelling here. Really great cinematics, really great moments. If you don't want to start with Beyond Light or anything like that, you can definitely start at the Witch Queen. This is the first part of the end of the saga. Really great, really fun. After that, you have Lightfall. And then you have the Final Shape, which is the end of the Light and Dark saga. From there, you have Edge of Fate, and then Renegades, where we are now. Now, you might think, hey, where do I play this stuff? Well, you don't play it here. Like I said, you don't want to play these one-off missions. You want to kind of get the full story, right? So what you do is you go back here, and you go to your Quest tab. Within the Quest tab, at the very bottom on the left, you have the Past. And you have all of the legacy missions in Quest here that you can play in order. So like I was saying before, you have Beyond Light, you have the Witch Queen, you have Lightfall, and then you have the Final Shape. And Shadowkeeper's Legacy, you can play that as well. I plan on playing this as well too, but I put it to the back burner because I really want to get into the story of what's going on here. Another thing that I would advise, if you're really trying to get story and really trying to get as much as you can from it, sometimes there are missions beyond the quest. Like after you finish the main quest, there might be some follow-up missions that you can do. You can do those, and it kind of ties you in a little bit more. But every little bit helps, in my opinion. But overall, that really covers it. I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that it allows you to enjoy Destiny 2. If you pay attention to the reviews and you pay attention to what other people are saying, you would believe that this is a game that is just incapable of being fun, incapable of being understood. That is not the case. You can understand the game if you really want to, and you can have a great time within it. Like I said, I've been playing this game nonstop. The gunplay is some of the best that I've experienced in a game. I love getting loot within this game. The cosmetics within the game are awesome. I love to defeat a boss and see that chest open, because everything that you get from this game when it comes to cosmetics and gear is straight drip. I'm not even paying attention to the stats of the stuff. I'm just looking at the drip of it, and I'm like, nah, this is fire. I want to wear this. Oh, this is cool. This is a cool helmet. I want to wear that. And overall, it's been a fun time. So like I said, hopefully this was helpful. If it was, consider liking and subscribing. But let me know in the comments, how new are you into Destiny 2? Did you just start playing it? Did the Renegades expansion bring you into it? Whatever it is, I'm always down to have conversations with you all. Thank you so much for chilling with me today, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.